I have been waiting so long for this model. The big brother of the DJI Air 3. Here it is, DJI Air3S. Here and I play with drones, and here it is, long-awaited DJI Air3S, truly updated version of last year's Air 3, which until now was my favourite model. What I've got here is the Fly More RC2 Combo, which comes with the drone itself, of course. A total of 3 batteries, 1 in the drone and 2. You've got the charging hub. You've got the RC2 remote with the built-in screen, of course. You get a set of 3 ND filters, ND8, 32 and 128. You get the charging cable, a full set of 3 props, and the carry case as well. Now there are a few different variations that you can buy. This package, the Fly More Combo RC2, comes in at £1,439 or $1,599. There's also a version that comes with the RC N3 remote. That is the old style remote without the screen built in. That package goes for £1,239 or $1,399. So that's about £200 or dollars cheaper. I cannot stress enough though how brilliant it is having the built-in screen without having to connect your phone each time. So if you can stretch for the RC version, I would absolutely go for that. You can also buy just the drone itself with a single battery and the N3 remote. That's the cheapest option, £959 or $1,100. So today, look, what I thought I'd do is quickly go over what's changed and been added from the original Air 3. Then I'll have the fun of charging everything up and updating the firmware. Then I will take it out for its first flight. Next week, I'm going to be heading up to the mountains of the Lake District to really put it through its paces, and I'll be compiling a full review on it then. So I will link to that video once that review is up as well. But for now, what's changed? Well, I have to say it's actually a ridiculously long list. So long, I had to write down bullet points for me to look at it, but it really is impressive. First off, of course, let's take the gimbal guard off. You can see, lovely new big gimbal. It's housing a 50 megapixel 1-inch sensor. Beautiful large aperture with large pixels specifically designed for low light and night settings. It's got new higher ISO range up to 12,800 and new picture processing hardware to make sure things don't get too noisy at those higher ISO values. The main camera is the equivalent of a 22mm lens, and it sits on top of the existing secondary camera that has a 1/1.3 inch 48 megapixel sensor sitting behind the equivalent of a 70mm medium telephoto lens, the equivalent of about 3 times zoom on the standard primary camera. It's got new HDR video for high contrast and low light settings, up to 14 stops of dynamic range. It's got a new free panorama mode for defining exactly the area of panorama you want to capture. So I'm looking forward to playing with that. Another big feature upgrade is the active track with vehicle recognition and tracking of smaller objects. I'm kind of wondering, is Ted going to finally be able to get active tracked? It also has this fully automated aesthetic active track mode, which I think is just a complicated way of saying auto dynamic active track that's going to constantly change the drone's position relative to the subject to give a more dynamic and varied shot without needing to hold the remote. So that should be really good fun to play with as well. What else? Lordy, yes. New return to home system without needing GPS satellite lock. So look, the Air3S apparently will capture the surroundings and the route flown, so it can actually work out an optimal return to home route in case of signal loss. If there's good daylight, it should then be able to track its way back, even if there's poor or even no satellite GPS signal. So that really is an impressive change to the return to home process, which always needed a full GPS lock before takeoff in order to get it back home again. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to test that one, but again, I think it's a really, really good improvement. What else? Yes, of course, extra internal storage, 42 gigs now of internal storage. That's going to be enough, I don't know, for a good couple of hours of 4K video. Again, that's a brilliant little chunky upgrade there. Very, very happy with that. And of course, you've still got the micro SD card slot, so you've got even more space if you want. Yeah, OcuSync 4 video transmission up to 20 kilometers, 14 miles transmission with 6 antennae. So look, yeah, I always take those specs with a bit of a pinch of salt, really. But to me, what it actually means is the signal should be rock solid, even when surrounded by hills, mountains, or trees. So again, another good spec there. Another cool feature is the low energy sleep mode for quick transfer and USB-C cable file transfer without having to power on the drone. So that should be a nice, useful little update for when you're trying to download your pictures and video afterwards. I've got to admit, it always drove me mad that you had to power up the drone just to actually grab your files via USB-C cable. So brilliant little update there. And of course, with a camera designed for low light and night flying, perhaps the biggest surprise is the new omnidirectional obstacle avoidance with the addition of forward-facing LiDAR and infrared ground sensing. Yes, the very same technology used to keep self-driving cars on the roads is now keeping the Air3S safe in the skies. There was also supposed to be a new RC track, small little portable device that you could clip onto a bike or keep in your pocket, allowing the Air3S to track that device rather than using the camera when using active track. It's to be sold separately, and it should be available very, very soon. And another feature that was going to be available but isn't quite yet as of today was dynamic updating home point. So you have the ability to constantly update your home point, tracking the RC remote itself rather than being stuck to where you actually took off. So again, hopefully that's only a firmware update away. But for now, not quite available yet. So let's have a look at the actual drone itself, shall we? Compare it with the Air3S, and the Air 3. Physically, body is very, very similar. See here, pretty much the same body size. What is it? 7 millimeters longer. The Air3S is 7 millimeters longer and 4 grams heavier. It's still sporting that C1 label for EU and EASA countries. Top speed, 21 meters per second in windless conditions. Apparently, though, the Air3S can now go faster when making use of tailwinds, letting you get up to even 27 or even 30 meters per second. That's over 60 miles an hour if you've got a very strong tailwind. That said, though, if you are flying in the EU and an EU EASA country, the top speed is going to be cropped at 90 meters per second to comply with the C1 requirements. What else? Right, let me just put things down so I'm not getting all confused. Right, yes, also, just so you know, the old Air 3 batteries will fit perfectly in the new Air 3S. So that's fine. If you've already got lots of Air 3 batteries, you don't necessarily have to go for the full combo. You do get 1 minute less of flight time. The spec flight time for the Air 3S is 45 minutes compared to 46. But in the real world, that should still mean we're going to get a good 38 to 40 minutes of real world flying. So not a major issue there. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the actual body itself, shall we? You can see the 2 big fisheye lenses sticking out the front. This is for the vision sensors, the omnidirectional fisheye. You've got the back here as well. You've got the other 2 fisheye sensors there. On the front, you have the new LiDAR sensor there, and down below you've got the infrared, the new infrared sensors shining down below. Now, the specs for the OA system, they're pretty good, especially with the new nighttime specifications. The LiDAR is supposed to be able to see obstacles up to 25 meters. That's going to be, what, about 80 feet. And downwards infrared is going to see obstacles up to about 8 meters away, about 25 feet. So it should give you very good full frontal and downward obstacle avoidance in nearly total darkness. Again, the specs say 1 lumix, so that really is, that's like 1 candle's worth. So I'm going to be having great fun testing this, but obviously doing my best not to crash. So look, as you could tell, I am really looking forward to putting this through its paces before I head up to the mountains next week to do a full review. So for now, I think less talking, let's get it charged up, firmware updated, and take it outside for its first flight. Right, firmware updated, remote control updated. Everything charged up. It's not the greatest of afternoons, quite windy, but that's really not going to worry me. It's certainly not going to worry the Air3S. That'll slice through wind very easily. So let's just start recording the screen. There we go. Ted still gets excited when a new drone starts up, so I'm just going to walk away a little bit. Ted, come on down here, mate.
Take off. Home point updated.
Okay, that's a very familiar sound. The sound of the props sounds identical to the Air 3. It's pretty much bang on the same. Right, without further ado, gone through the settings. Let's start recording. Let's go up and see what it can do. Still do not get used to how fast the ascent is. It really is like a rocket. Okay, very fast, very smooth. Nice day, lots of bright clouds, so I'll be testing the dynamic range. Strong wind warning already. Like I said, I've certainly flown the Air 3 in a very, very strong wind up in Wales, but don't be too quick to ignore strong wind warnings, and make sure you can land quite quickly if you need to. And certainly you want to be watching out for any drift. I'd say it's quieter than the Neo. It's not saying much, is it? So the display looks exactly the same. Let's have a quick look here. Normal sensing system, yeah. There he is. Okay, obstacle avoidance working nicely. What we'd have hoped. Come back to me. And again, it will not fly into me. Now, flicking it into bypass can make it a little bit more flighty and jumpy, as I have demonstrated in the past. I'm going to take things very slow. The last thing I want to do is crash my new drone again. Let's see what happens. Right thumb forward, going straight towards the rhododendron, and over it goes. Very nice. And I'm not going to try it. There's no way it can get through that amount of trees. Let's come back. All right, let's take it up and just take some photos. So nice difficult shot for it, quite bright sky over there, and then you've got dark trees. That's pretty much the hardest picture that you can take. It's a bit of a gloomy, cloudy day, to be honest. Sun's just breaking through, making the cloud very bright. Like I said, the worst possible type of conditions to take a good photo in. So I'm just having a little look at him now. He is 43 meters high, 50 meters high. So what's that? 150 feet. I know it's windy. I can only just hear him, so that's good going. Very, very low pitch, so that's obviously less annoying to the human ear. Jump into the 3x lens. South Downs, quite misty, it's rain on the way. So this is using the 3x tele lens. And then what I'd also expect, of course, is that you can use the there we go, yeah. So you've got a digital zoom as well. Now, I mean, digital zoom, not really worth anything, is it really, that you could crop in post, but it'll be good to see how it comes out. So I'll take a photo there, come back. That's the standard 3x tele lens, and then exactly the same conditions with the standard main camera. Woo. There we go. And then just for good measure, go into the photo settings, and if I go into Pro mode, manual mode, again, JPEG 16:9, you can jump over to 50 megapixel there. Let's just take a couple of photos. Be quite a chunky file, I'm thinking. Let's try and make life a little bit more meaningful as well. Take there you go, got a nice bit of grass, trees and the like, still with a bright strip of sky along the top. Go into auto. So it looks like the only way you can jump between 50 megapixel and 12 megapixel is to go into manual pro mode, and then you tap over on the left hand side where you've got the JPEG and RAW and the aspect, go there and you can jump back to 12 megapixel that way. You're on an active track. Right, thought he was going to reverse into those trees, but no. Okay, let's go down for a little walk. So, see, how does it cope? Hey! He scurried round. Let's try and find me again. There we go. That's not bad. Picked me up quite well there. Woo. That is impressive. I mean, there are bushes all around there and he has gone down in front of those logs to try and go underneath the bush to keep a track on me. That is quite cool. It's doing the same. Okay, this is the auto setting, so the F888T aesthetic automated active track, but I'm not doing anything and he's just flying around. Yeah. Let's go for a little walk. Going up high, going low. Did he find me again? Yes, he has. And there he is, he picks up on me straight away again. Come here, little drone. All right, let's stop. Let's stop. Bring it in. Well, I'll be honest, after what happened with my Mavic 3, crashing it during its first couple of days testing it, I have to be a little bit cautious with this, but that went far beyond what I was expecting. So I was hiding behind the tree there, behind the rhododendron, and it will actually move down and it searches me out, adjusts its position. There are trees and bushes everywhere, and yet not once did it come close to hitting anything. Certainly, fantastic first flight. Wasn't really expecting too much different from the Air 3 with regards to the actual flight handling, especially in this strong wind. That performed absolutely fine, but so many features to play with. Really want to play around with the new active track, see if TED can be actively tracked as well. Yeah, just really happy to have so many different fun features to play with over the next few days and weeks. Anyway, look, that's it for today. Bit of a long one, I know, but there we go. You could tell I was quite excited to get this, to say the very least. Give us a little thumbs up, help the video along. Until next time, have fun, happy flying.